Hello, hello. Welcome to day 2 of writing your business plan. Now, today is super exciting day. We're talking about strategy, business strategy. And we're really going to step back and take an overall look at your current business or, business ideas if you haven't started yet. And this is really powerful. It might seem kind of basic, but you'd be surprised that when you don't do this type of big picture thinking, you can get really caught up in the details. And this is really a trait of very successful business leaders, is they spend a lot of time in this space. And you don't need to spend a lot of time, but you will want to constantly be checking in with your overall strategy. And it helps you really understand why you're doing anything in your business. And the benefit to that is because then when something doesn't work out as planned, or doesn't get the results that was planned, you understand why you're doing that, and you know how to identify new opportunities as they come in that will address that aspect of the business. So it helps you really focus in on what you're doing in your business plan. All business strategy means is that you are going to achieve, right? That's what strategy is. Strategy is like making sure to the best of ability that you achieve the goal. So today I'll open up a spreadsheet and I'll take you through kind of like a visual way to look at your entire business. And you'll be answering some very basic questions that will really cover everything. So strategy is in clarity and simplicity. Being able to state these areas of your business in one sentence is what is actually more powerful than having a ton of things to say about it. And it's in that clarity and conciseness where your strategy is, because then you're clear. So today, it's really about getting your ideas or current business into this big picture format, spoken concisely. So you'll be doing this really on one page, in contrast with yesterday's tasks of really like writing out and processing, and really pull out the different areas of your business that create your strategy. Then over the next days of the plan, you'll be able to dive into each of those areas. But part of what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow you to see where you're very clear, and that's certainly your strategy at this moment. And it's going to allow you to identify the areas that you need to learn about and need to develop. And it's not like a need, like, oh, I need to do work on this. No. It's being aware and understanding those areas that need to be filled in and why, and setting specific goals for the outcomes of what you need those areas to achieve in order for your business to be successful. All right, so big picture thinking today. Congratulations on showing up, and I will see you over in the exercise and the spreadsheet. So get out your piece of paper, and you'll have 6 questions. We'll go through each of these basic questions. And remember, you want to answer them really basic and try to stick to one sentence. It might sound very simple. It's probably going to be a little bit harder, usually is for most people, a little harder than it sounds. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you don't want to get frustrated or feel like it's hard or focus on you don't know. This is typically a hard exercise for people. It's a great starting point, I found. Parts of it will be easy, parts of it will be more complicated. Really, the approach and mindset and attitude that you have when you're doing this, it means everything. Because when you have an open mind, when you're excited about doing this exercise, your intuition, your subconscious mind, your creative mind are all intermixing and working. If you get stressed out, worried, overwhelmed, or you're thinking about maybe business issues that you currently have or something like that, you cut your mind off to those key areas that, all big businesses and really game-changing businesses attribute their success to, right? Creativity, expressing yourself, creating the business that you really want, and all of that sort of stuff. So just hear me when I say to trust this process, to go through it and answer each question as concisely as possible, and to understand that there's huge value in not only doing this, but learning about the areas of your business and being open to receiving inspiration and, these other details that where you're not clear, as those fill in, those are going to be the aspects that allow you to be more creative and for you to take your business really to the next level. And expect your ideas to change and develop. Key. So you may recognize these questions: who, what, when, where, why, how. This second column is kind of the technical business department or area of business, but really just focus on answering this question. So what does the business sell? Product or service or both, combination? Where do you sell it or make it if it's a product? That's where does everything involved in the business take place? Do you have locations, stores? Who do you sell to? So this one is where it starts to get a little more complicated. Who do you sell to? You may have heard of the term target market. That is what this is asking. But when you think about this, you just want to think about who is buying what you sell, more specifically as possible. And in regards to the criteria that matters about your business as you're answering all of these questions. So you may type something in here and then come back to this. And you also might want to consider, if you're already in business and you didn't define this before you started, you may want to look at your clients or your customers and look at what you know about them and what's the common denominator. What do they all have in common? And then on the secondary target market, think of any other people that you're having involved in your business. They might be the people who are working for you, or investors, or suppliers, and consider if it's strategic to define them as well. Could you consider them a secondary target market? That can be a really smart way to really assure your success in up-leveling or starting, because you're getting other players on board from the get-go. Why do they buy what you sell? So you really want to think about, why is someone buying your product or service? What is the problem that they're having that is causing them to buy? There's always a problem. And then what is the solution that your product or service is then creating for them? There's always a solution there as well. And again, answer this with what you know. We'll be diving deeper into these areas next. How do you sell it? That is your marketing, which is what attracts people to you, and then your sales process, which is how you sell. And everyone has a sales process. Sometimes it's more obvious with salespeople and such than others, but there's always some sort of sales process. Especially because not every single person who falls into your marketing is going to buy from you, right? So whatever that process is that weeds people out after they find you to actually buying, that's your process. So when do people buy? And by when, I mean when in life or in business or in whatever they're doing or the business is doing that's related to what you're selling. Okay, so our last step here, just the metrics to evaluate these types of things in business. And metrics are just numbers, a way to evaluate information. And you may want to apply this to your business and just see what you think of and jot some notes down or apply it to your business if you're already in business. And that is all. The last thing I'll say is this basically, your executive summary is the first section of the business plan. And it basically covers all of this. And it can even include some key metrics as far as, flashy numbers that are really good. And of course, so in doing this, you're essentially creating an executive summary. You write the executive summary last. Over the next few days, we'll be diving deeper into each of these areas and looking at how you actually plan and how you make decisions, and then set up a goal of what needs to happen there. The other thing we'll really be looking at is how you know what area you need to develop. Because here's the thing, depending on where you're at, like, you may not need to focus on marketing. Some of my clients, that's their main problem, is that they have so many customers and they need to catch up their business systems to be able to serve those clients. And so if you're trying to use a business plan right now to grow, you want to have marketing on your radar. But your next step plans that you're getting really detailed in are not going to be marketing. They're going to be other areas where that need to happen next, and then, as you expand those areas, you'll have to start looking at marketing as you're meeting the full demand that you currently have. And who knows, things may organically expand. So you don't want to spend a bunch of time planning there. So it's really about figuring out the next area to really focus on while keeping these other areas in mind and reviewing them, reviewing where you're at and understanding them, so that when an opportunity comes along or when you all of a sudden need to focus there, it's not like a whole new thing. All right, congratulations on doing the core strategy, and I will see you tomorrow in day 3.